a few excerpts here from an article by Uri Avnerys. It's all a matter of timing. The government of Israel has insulted Vice President of the United States, Joe Biden, one of the greatest friends of Israel, meaning somebody totally subservient to AIPAC, and spat in the face of President Obama. So what? It's all a matter of timing. If the government had announced the building of 1,600 new housing units in East Jerusalem a day earlier, it would have been okay. If it had announced it 3 days later, it would have been wonderful. But doing it exactly when Joe Biden was about to have dinner with Bibi, that was really bad timing. The matter itself is not important. Another 1,000 housing units in East Jerusalem, or 10,000, or 100,000. What difference does it make? The only thing that matters is the timing. In other words, the lies were exposed. During his last days in office, President Bill Clinton published a peace plan in which he tried to make up for 8 years of failure in this region and kowtowing to successive Israeli governments. The plan was comparatively reasonable, but included a ticking time bomb. About East Jerusalem, Clinton proposed that what is Jewish should be joined to the state of Israel, and what is Arab should be joined to the state of Palestine. He assumed rightly, I believe, that Yasser Arafat was ready for such a compromise, which would have joined some new Jewish settlements back then in East Jerusalem to Israel. But Clinton was not wise enough to foresee the consequences of his proposal. In practice, it was an open invitation to the Israeli government to speed up the establishment of new settlements in East Jerusalem, expecting them to become part of Israel. And indeed, since then, successive Israeli governments have invested all available resources to this endeavor. Now, the pace is speeded up even more, because there is no more effective means of obstructing peace plans than building new settlements in East Jerusalem. That is clear to anyone who has dealings in this region. No peace without an independent Palestinian state, no Palestinian state without East Jerusalem. And there is total unanimity amongst all Palestinians, from Fatah to Hamas, and between all Arabs and between all Muslims. There will be no peace without the Palestinian flag waving above the holy shrines of Islam, which is called the Temple Mount. It is an ironclad rule. Arabs can compromise with the refugee problem, painful as it may be, and about the borders, also without much pain, and about security matters. But they cannot compromise about East Jerusalem becoming the capital of Palestine. All national and religious passions converge here. Anyone who wants to wreck any chance for peace, it is here that he has to act. And settlers and their supporters, who know that any peace agreement would include the elimination of most of their settlements, have planned in the past to blow up the mosques on the Temple Mount, hoping that this would cause a worldwide conflagration, which would reduce to ashes the chances of peace once and for all. Less extreme people dream about the creeping ethnic cleansing of East Jerusalem by administrative means, demolition of houses, denying means of livelihood, and just making life in general miserable for the Arabs. Moderate rightists just want to cover every empty square in East Jerusalem with Jewish neighborhoods. The aim is always the same. The reality is, of course, well known to Obama and his advisors. In the beginning, they believed in their innocence that they could sweet-talk Netanyahu and company into stopping this building activity to facilitate the start of negotiations for a two-state solution. Very soon they learned that this was impossible without exerting massive pressure, and they are not prepared to do that. After putting up a short and pitiful struggle, the Obama administration gave in. They agreed to the deception of a settlement freeze in the West Bank. Now building is going on there with great enthusiasm, and the settlers are satisfied. They're not even demonstrating anymore. You know, for Joe Biden, of course, this was a matter of honor and a big embarrassment. And for Mahmoud Abbas, the Palestinian leader, it is a matter of political survival. Under intense pressure from the Americans and their agents, the rulers of Arab countries, Abbas was obliged to agree to negotiations with the present government in Israel, but only through proximity talks, a euphemism for distance talks. Clearly, nothing will come out of these talks except more humiliation for the Palestinians. Quite simply, anyone building in East Jerusalem and the West Bank is announcing in advance that there is no chance for an agreement. So yeah, the peace process is a sham.